Welcome to another episode, everyone. Chomos often do not make it in jail or prison. It does not matter where they go. Once exposed, their days are numbered. Such was the case here in the Los Angeles County Jail with an individual named Pretty Cuzz. We called him Pretty Cuzz because he was light-skinned with green eyes and had long flowing hair. But Pretty Cuzz, though many individuals who fit this description are often viewed as perhaps not as strong and more soft than an individual who, let's say, looks like me. But that is not always the case. This is just a misconception and a misperception about some of these light-skinned individuals. Some of these dudes are indeed strong. So Pretty Cuzz pulled up there to the Los Angeles County Jail, and he went inside of the cell with a young homie from Compton Crib. And everything was fine at first. Pretty Cuzz was able to skate through in the module for some time because no one knew his dastardly past. Now, he ended up exposing himself right there in the cell with the young homie from Compton, because the young homie from Compton, as often is the case with some of these individuals, had overheard a conversation that Pretty Cuzz was having on his phone right there inside of the cell. It was just them two inside of the cells, meaning they were on the upper tier. On the upper tier at the Los Angeles County Jail is where they have the 2-man cells. Used to be 4-man cells. Sometimes they would fit 6, 7, 8, 9, 6, 7 individuals inside of a 4-man cell, overcrowded. But now the law states that only 2 individuals can be housed even in a 4-man cell. So these 2 individuals are in there. And he overhears the conversation that Pretty Cuzz is having on the phone with his girl. And when Pretty Cuzz gets off the phone, he keeps alluding to the fact that his girl, when he's having a conversation with the young homie from Compton, and he's talking about his girl, he said, his young tender. He just keeps referring to the fact that she's young. His young tender, his young tender. He caught her when she was younger. Now, Pretty Cuzz is about 28 years old, so he's not an old man or nothing by any stretch. Nevertheless, come to find out, he's too old for this girl, who we come to find out was 15 years old, because when he's having these conversations inside of the cell, the young homie from Compton at one point outright asked him, because he was uneasy, he later said, about the way Pretty Cuzz was referring to this girl. So he asked, hey man, how old is this girl? When you say young tender, what do you mean exactly? And, well, Pretty Cuzz, thinking that he's in the right, and this is what some of these individuals do, because he's 29, 28, or 29 years old. He believes that because she's 15, that he's not doing anything wrong. He believes that a Chomo is someone who's in their 60s or 70s that does something to a 4, 5, 6-year-old girl or boy. He has the Megyn Kelly mentality. Megyn Kelly, racist ass Megyn Kelly, who recently said that when defending Epstein and defending Donald Trump, who's certainly in the Epstein files, she says there's a difference between a 5-year-old and a 15-year-old. Come on, people. It's not like we're talking about 5-year-old girls here. Even if they did do something, essentially, is what she was saying, is her point. They were 15-year-old. They were 15, not 5. Megan. But this is how these people think. They're sick. you have to understand when you go into it, having a conversation with these sort of individuals, you have to go into understanding off the top that you're dealing with a depraved individual. And if you keep that in mind, then you'll keep your sanity when trying to understand these individuals. Nevertheless, such was the case with Pretty Cuzz, believing that because his victim was 15 years old, and because she's really his girl, as far as he's concerned, that he hasn't done anything wrong. I'm not a chomo. I'm not one of those people. This is consensual. She's 15. I'm 28, 29. Her mother knows about it. She's okay with it. What's the problem? What's the issue? Was really his position. But now he's not saying all of this at first. He's just running down the conversation with young Compton. But Compton is really, even though he's young, he's about 19 or 20 years old, he understands the gravity of the situation. Excuse me. He understands that Pretty Cuzz is totally in the wrong and that something needs to happen immediately. And so he comes to the congregation and conveys the information in the conversation that he and Pretty Cuzz had prior. He runs it down. Man, this dude is dealing with a 15-year-old and he believes that it's okay because, he hasn't even reached 30 years old yet. But am I wrong? But I don't believe that this is right. This is what young Compton is saying. No, you're not wrong, bro. He's in the wrong no matter his age. She's underage. And if he's not underage, then he's totally in the wrong. That's just the way. Pretty Cuzz knows this. You're a chomo. You're taking advantage of a young girl, of a little girl. She cannot consent. I do not care what she says at the age of 15. Morally and lawfully, she cannot consent. You, as a grown man, know this. You have internalized this over the years, and yet, in spite of this, have decided, because of your weak heart, which is, I suppose, fluttering with butterflies over a 15-year-old, you decided to flout the law of morality and common sense and deal with this young girl. So when it's brought to the table, everyone said, no, this is wrong. But are you sure, Compton, that you've heard this correctly? He absolutely straight up admitted that she was 15 years old. He said, man, I'm telling you, bro, he told me that the girl was 15. And the reason that he was so forthright with the information is because, so forthcoming with the information is because he believes that he has done nothing wrong. He believes that he's in the right. So really, everyone still wanted to confirm this some way, somehow, that this dude, Pretty Cuzz, strong or not, or reputable or not, was indeed dealing with an underage girl. So he was just outright confronting. The next day, 3 to 4 individuals went to his cell and they asked him, Pretty Cuzz, check it out. Is what we hearing true? Just let us know. Figuring that if what Compton says is accurate, and he's going to admit it to everyone. He's going to say it right then and there because he believes, again, that he's done nothing wrong, that he's doing nothing wrong. He's continued with these conversations with this young minor, even though he's incarcerated now. He's locked up for something else, a robbery or what have you. But during this incarceration, this comes out. And he held true to form, believing that he was right. He readily admitted that he was dealing with a minor. Now, at first, he would not say her age. indicating the fact that he knew that it was wrong because they were pressing him. Bro, how old is she? He was like, man, she young, but she look old. She like grown, bro. She grown. I know her whole family, her sisters, her mother. They all know that we together, bro. You know, we gonna get married, this whole thing. He believes that what he's doing is right. Some of you watching this will believe that what he was doing is right because you're saying, well, she consented. He didn't take anything from her. She's 15. She said, okay. He's familiar with the family. He's going over there. They're eating dinner. He knows her sisters. He knows her mother, uncles, what have you. They're the whole full-blown public out in the open relationship. This 28-year-old man and this 15-year-old girl. Apparently her family subscribes to this relationship. At any rate, he believes that what he's doing is okay because her family is even okay with it. So he doesn't have a problem with admitting that he's dealing with her. He has not absorbed the fact that he's about to be brutalized once he admits that he's dealing with a little girl. Whatever the reason, it's unjustifiable. That's one thing that you can never justify. They're in prison or in the county jail. It's being a chomo, being a snitch. There's nothing that can justify it, nothing that can reverse those actions. And to admit this, well, you're only sealing your fate. And then he eventually admitted that she was 15 years old. But he said that what he was doing was not wrong because her family knew that it was such, and he wasn't even in there for that. He wants to go and show his paperwork about what he's in there for. And they said, man, we understand that you're not in here for that. It doesn't matter. You just haven't been arrested. It doesn't mean that what you're doing is right. What you're doing is wrong. And you got to get the hell out of here immediately. But you're going to leave brutalized and humiliated. And so the plan was put into motion by a few Crips who were outraged by this dude's disposition, particularly that he felt like what he was doing was not wrong. He was not remorseful whatsoever. Next, it would be my 15-year-old sister, daughter, at 28, 29 years old, a full-grown man, ready to impregnate her, marry her. No, man, this is all bad. So people are outraged, and they want to humiliate this individual, not just remove him, teach him a lesson, send a message to the naysayers, the onlookers, that should you ever come in there for such a treacherous, unforgivable crime, you will suffer the same fate. They got his door hit, 3 to 4 individuals, no hesitation, ran in there, and humiliation was on the menu. Deliberately, they ran in there with feces and urine, and they doused him with both. Urine, threw it all on his face. He wiping it off. Man, what's it? And they hit him with feces. Threw it all on his face, all on his clothes, all on his neck, all on his eyes. He wiping it off. And then they attacked him with weapons while he's wiping his shit off his face and the piss off his face. They own him, opening him up with holes. No mercy, unforgiving. And even though he was someone, and someone that at first everyone in the module respected and had love for, he had been there for 3 to 4 weeks before he was even exposed. But someone just prior to him actually had suffered a similar fate. So there was going to be no favoritism. And again, some people, even that may believe, man, what he did was not wrong. She consented. She consented. She was 15. She knew his age. Her family knew his age. What's the issue? And I say that you're wrong and he was wrong. And everyone believes this. Everyone there. You go to jail for this, you go to prison for this, you're going to suffer a similar fate. Whether you believe it's right or not, no one in there does. It's what you need to understand. Damn what you think. And so they went in there and they brutalized this individual and they humiliated him with the feces and the urine and the blood. Because when they stabbed him and beat him and got him on the ground, they was kicking his head in, it was an ugly sight. It was nasty, particularly because he was someone, again, that at first was well liked and respected there in the module. So for things to take this sort of violent, grisly turn was shocking. And the fact that he held strong to his belief that he was not wrong for dealing with a minor was also shocking. But you are wrong. And if you come through having been convicted of dealing with a man or woman, a boy or girl under the age of 18, you will be brutalized. In fact, if you're older and she or he is 18 and you're 60 or something, you can still be brutalized. It's just not a road that you want to go down. Chomos have no place behind the bars. They have no place there. You will not survive because the individuals there have family members. They have daughters, they have mothers, they have sisters, sons, brothers, fathers. You coming in there for these dastardly crimes against a child, against a minor, regardless of what you think of people who are incarcerated, that they have no morality themselves. How dare they point the finger at someone and judge them? They may be in there for murder. How can they judge someone that's in there for dealing with a minor? One crime is not better than the other. Whatever your belief is, I'll respect it. But I'm just letting you know that if you go behind those walls for such a crime, it doesn't matter what you think of those individuals in there. They do have ethics. They do have morals. And some things they are not going to stand for. Abuse against women and abuse against minors are two of them. Stay safe and stay free, people.